if DCP, Dyfs gets involved in a family, what are some of the powers that this institution has? Are they able to, force a person to take classes? Are they able to, force them to do certain things? What are some of the powers that this institution has?
There's a lot that can be done under these cases by the division. The biggest thing that they can do is that they can take your child away from you.
Wow.
If they believe that child is at risk, they can remove the child from your care.
Wow.
That is a right that a parent has that, short of the death penalty, I can't think, terminating somebody's parental rights is probably the next best, biggest thing that could happen to a person. But not all cases get to the point of termination of parental rights. Not all cases are the removal of the children. The division sometimes, when it comes in, it asks for what's known as a safety protection plan.
Mm-hmm.
And a safety protection plan is, for example, if let's say there are two parents and the division believes that maybe one of the parents is involved and the other parent can protect the child, maybe they say, well, we're going to leave the child here, but you have to make sure that the child is in your presence at all time within a sight and sound. Okay? The safety protection plan may include another relative coming to the house to make sure that child is okay and leaving the child in the home. Or it may mean, if the parents are separated, that the child is not going to go with the other parent if it's the non-custodial parent, the one that's the caregiver. Sometimes the division may place the child with the non-custodial parent if they think that the custodial parent is the perpetrator of the abuse. Or they could allow the child to remain in the home and provide services in the home, depending on what the nature of the allegations are. And the services can range from substance abuse treatment, mental health treatment, parenting classes, all these things can be provided. However, having said that, and knowing that the agency is there to provide all these services, unless there are issues of abuse and neglect and the parent agrees with these services, the division and the government should not be involved in your life.
Mm.
And that's where attorneys come in to make sure that if services are being offered, that the services are offered because they are necessary, not because they went out and there's a boilerplate and we're going to do a psychological and we're going to do a substance abuse evaluation, even though there's no allegations of substance abuse. That the services that are being offered are services that are needed. And most parents don't know whether these services are needed. And the experience of attorneys that have been doing this for a long time will say, why they're asking for a substance abuse evaluation if there's no allegations of that anywhere.
You bring up a good point about the substance abuse evaluation. That made me think of something. So we know that morals are changing. There are things that are tolerable today that in the past would not be tolerable. So the scenario I'm thinking about is, I can imagine before marijuana was viewed as it's being viewed today, I can imagine in the past, someone making an accusation that someone is using marijuana while they're taking care of a child. In the past, I could see that being a major issue. In your opinion, is marijuana still a major issue when it comes to the division in children?
Well, I don't know if it's a major issue, but it still is an issue.
Mm-hmm.
Because we have access now to medical marijuana.
Mm-hmm.
So if it's medical marijuana that a parent is taking for some medical reasons that it's prescribed by a doctor, that's one thing.
Mm-hmm.
If a parent is using marijuana and self-medicating, and it's something purchased on the street, not with a medical marijuana license, then it's a different situation. Mm-hmm. It depends on the age of the children. Okay. It depends on whether this is being done while the children are in the parent's care. So, for example, if it's the same, falls into the same category as excessive drinking. Okay. You can go ahead and have a glass of wine with your children. There's nothing wrong with that. You can have 2 glasses of wine. You can have a drink. If the call comes in that you're inebriated to the point that you cannot care for the children, or that you're driving while intoxicated, all those are different complications, and it depends on the age of the child. Okay. But if that call came in that you were drunk and the child was at the in-laws for the weekend,
different.
That's okay. Okay. That's okay. Because it's not against the law to get drunk and be at home. But if the child was in your care and you had an infant and you were both passed out, then that's a different situation. Okay. But that's why it's important to have somebody guide you through it, because each situation is completely different.